everybody, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. If this shirt and this background looks familiar, I don't know which video is going to be posted first actually, but I'm pre-filming some stuff today, so just ignore the same shirt in 3 different videos during this month. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. I just don't feel like changing. I like this shirt, I just got it, so I'm gonna wear it in 3 different videos. Today's video is going to be these books will self-destruct in 12 months in a year video. That didn't really roll off the tongue, but you know what I mean. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to pick 12. I picked 10. Let me go pick 2 more. I think you're supposed to pick 12 because there's 12 months. I don't know, is that a rule? I'm gonna go pick 2 more. BRB. I've got 2 more books. So basically, if you haven't seen these videos before, which I'm sure you have, but just in case you haven't, basically pick 12 books on your TBR. If you don't read them in the next 12 months, they self-destruct, aka you have to unhaul them. And I picked these books for a variety of reasons, which we will go over when I tell you about them, but basically, like, if I've had them for a long time, if my interest is waning, or I'm putting them off for whatever reason, those are like the kind of reasons I put them on this list. Let's just get into the 12 books I have to unhaul if I don't read by December next year. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those mean the absolute world to me. We'll just start with the book that you can see. That is Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. This is the 2nd book in the You series, like the TV show You. I bought this a couple years ago, I think in 2020 maybe. I was told that I could get away with not reading the first book since it's so similar to the TV show, but I know that in this book it diverges from what happens in the TV show. I'm sure the first one does as well to a certain extent, but I've been told that in this book, a lot of things are different than in the 2nd season of the show, so you kind of have to read this to read the other books, and I would like to eventually get to the other books as well. So I've had this, oh wait, the receipt is in here. Even worse, 2019. That's a joke. Is that real? I've had this since May 30th, 2019. Well, that's even more embarrassing now. That's not that long, but let me just tell you, I did not read in 2019. I didn't get back into reading until 2020, so why was I out here buying books? Anyway, so I've had this for 3 years now, and I haven't even looked at it. The big reason of picking most of these books is this video hopefully will push me to read these. It'll be a bit of pressure. So this just follows what happened in the first book, or the first season. He moves to LA, meets his neighbors, works in a bookstore, and new love stories. So that's the first book on the self-destruct list. I have bad posture, we need to change the angle. Next I have Keeping the Moon by Sarah Dessen. Now I thought that one was embarrassing for how long I've had this. I've had this since middle school and I am 23. To be fair to myself, I did buy this when I read, and this is my favorite author in middle school. Like, that was who, Sarah Dessen was who I read in middle school. Every single time I had to pick a book from the library, it was a Sarah Dessen. I probably got this at the book fair in my school. I read Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen earlier in 2022, and I enjoyed it. Like, it was very nostalgic for me, and it was just a great feeling to read from an author that I loved when I was in middle school. But I need to read this. If I'm gonna keep this, I need to read it. I don't think I read it at all in middle school, but this book's from 1999, the year that I was born. It follows 15-year-old Coley has never fit in. First it was because she was fat, then after she lost the weight it was because of a reputation that she didn't deserve. So when she's sent to stay with her eccentric aunt for the summer, Coley doesn't expect too much. Why would anyone in Colby, North Carolina want to bother her when no one back home does? But Colby turns out to be a nice surprise for Coley. Is it like the dog or like a border collie? Collie? I don't know. Border collie? I don't know. Almost without trying, she lands herself a job at Last Chance Bar and Grill. There she meets fellow waitress Morgan and Isabel, two best friends who teach her what friendship is all about and help her learn to appreciate who she really is. Usually there's also a romance in Sarah Dessen's books, so there might be as well as that, but just like a friendship novel. It's under 250 pages, so why haven't I read it? I don't know. So the next book is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. This is a fantasy with a gorgeous cover, like come on, beautiful. But this one kind of intimidates me. I haven't heard that much about it. We follow a family who goes to visit Orquídea Divina. She invites them to her funeral and to collect their inheritance because she knows she's gonna die. They are hoping to learn the secrets that she has held on to so tightly their whole lives. Instead, Orquídea is transformed into a tree, her limbs stretching into roots and branches, leaving them with more questions than answers. 7 years later, her gifts have manifested in different ways for each person, granting them unexpected blessings and powers, but soon a hidden figure begins to tear through their family tree, picking them off one by one as it seeks to destroy Orquídea's line. Determined to save what's left of their family and uncover the truth behind their inheritance, her descendants travel to Ecuador, to the place where she buried her secrets and broken promises and never looked back. It sounds really good. I don't really even know why I haven't read it because it's 300 pages. I can't even pretend it's a long book, so it's intimidating like that. I just haven't read it. Then I have Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson. I've just heard this isn't good. I think it was Kayla from Books and Lala said this wasn't a good mystery. I had bought this on Book Outlet, if you can tell by the marker thing on there. I just haven't heard that great of things of it, so it just makes me not want to read it. Follows Amy. She's a devoted wife. Her uncomplicated life begins to unravel when the mysterious Angelica arrives on her doorstep one book club night. Angelica keeps the wine flowing and lures the group into a game of spilling secrets. Angelica tells her that if she doesn't give her what she wants, what she deserves, she will make Amy pay for her sins. To protect her family and the life she's built, Amy must beat the devil at her own clever game, matching wits with Angelica in an escalating war of hidden pasts and unearthed secrets. Just haven't heard good things, so it doesn't make me want to pick it up ever. The Stepsisters by Susan Mallory. I will be completely honest with you guys. I bought this book because there's a character named Cassidy in it. And I don't actually have any shame in that. I told myself it was not like that just doesn't happen lots. There's not a lot of books with the characters named Cassidy that I know of. I could think of 4 total right now. And I told myself maybe I would do a vlog with reading books with characters with the same name as me. So if you want to see that, let me know down below. I justified purchasing this with that. But I already read one of them that had a character named Cassidy because I didn't know there was a character named Cassidy until I was starting to read it. But this follows 2 stepsisters. They are kind of rivals. After the divorce, the stepsisters' rivalry continues until the final improbable straw. Daisy married Sage's first love, and Sage fled California. 18 years later, Daisy never expects or wants to see Sage again, but when the little sister they have in common needs them both, they put aside their differences to care for Cassidy. So she's a sad character, but that's okay. As long-buried truths are revealed, no one is more surprised than they when friendships blossom. I don't know, it doesn't sound like the most interesting book, but The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. The reason I put this on this list is because there's no reason that I haven't read this book. Simply no reason. I have probably had a million chances to read it and I haven't, so putting it on this list because it sounds interesting. I know people really like it. It won awards, so let's just read it. This mom gets a call that her kid has been kidnapped, and in order to get her child back, I think she has to pay some money and then also kidnap another kid and call this mother and say that their kid is kidnapped, and the cycle just continues. And so it's like a chain of kidnapping, and no one will go to the police because they want their kid back. You just dropped off your child at this bus stop. A panicked stranger calls your phone. Your child has been kidnapped. The stranger then explains that their child has also been kidnapped by a completely different stranger. The only way to get your child back is to kidnap another child. You are now part of the train. The chain. You are now part of the chain. So it sounds really interesting. Also, probably reason I haven't read this is because the writing's small. Like, girl, get over it. Just read it. Then I have The Secret Life of C.C. Wilkes by Diane Chamberlain. I bought this book, I think, let's just be honest with myself, because I wanted to grow my book shelves and what I had. And this sounded decently interesting, and it was on sale, I think. So that's basically why I bought it. No shame in my game. This was when I was getting back into reading, so I thought buying a bunch of books was great. I mean, it is, let's be honest. But like buying books that I really, really, I did not need to buy this book at all. In 1977, pregnant Genevieve disappeared. 20 years later, her remains are discovered, and Timothy Gleason is charged with her murder, but there is no sign of the unborn child. C.C. Wilkes knows how Genevieve died because she was there, and she knows what happened to her missing infant because two decades ago, she made the devastating choice to raise the baby as her own. Now Timothy Gleason is facing the death penalty, and she has another choice to make: to tell the truth and destroy her family, or let an innocent man die in order to protect a lifetime of lies. It sounds interesting. It's just a big mystery, and I don't really tend to like big mysteries. Like, it's almost 500 pages. What mystery needs to be 500 pages? None. That's a big reason why I haven't read it yet. So hopefully I read it before this year's ends. And if I don't enjoy it, then I can get rid of it. But I'll feel a lot better if I read these books and then get rid of them, because then it's more worth my money. Next, I have A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. The reason I haven't read this is, I mean, it's not small. It's fantasy. It's not usually my realm of things. So I'm a little bit intimidated by it. I just don't know if I'm gonna love it. I also have heard very mixed reviews on it, so who knows what I will feel about it. And I also, here's a little admission, a confession or whatever. A big reason I bought this is because it's set in Toronto, and I'm from Canada, and you just really don't see books set in Canada. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to buy things without talking to an adult. A responsible adult. The second book's cover is really ugly though, and that is also a reason I don't want to read this, because I don't want to love this and have to have that ugly, ugly, ugly cover on my bookshelf. For centuries, the 8 courts of folk have lived among us, concealed by magic and bound by law to do no harm to humans. This arrangement has long kept peace in the courts, until a series of gruesome and ritualistic murders rocks the city of Toronto and threatens to expose Fae to the human world. 4 queer teens, each holding a key piece of the truth behind these murders, must form a tenuous alliance in their effort to track down the mysterious killer behind these crimes. If they fail, they risk the destruction of the Fae and human worlds alike. If that's not bad enough, there's a war brewing between the mortal and immortal realms, and one of these teens is destined to tip the scales. The only question is which way. Sounds good, so why haven't I read it? I don't know. I just need a little push. Now this next one. Some of you may ask how I've gone this long without reading this book. And it's a little bit of a controversial one, so don't look down on me. It is After by Anna Todd. I bought this on Book Outlet for like $2. I think I read some of the original fan fiction, I think, but I don't really remember because I was consuming a lot of that stuff and I don't really remember what they were called. But I haven't watched any of the movies or anything, and so I just decided I'm gonna read this and watch the first movie and maybe do like for a vlog or something. That's why I bought it, because I thought it'd be a fun vlog. But then I'm like, oh, gotta ethics behind. I won't be buying any of the other books, but so yeah, this is just the first book. If you don't know, This was originally a Harry Styles fanfiction, One Direction fanfiction, and then when it was getting published, they changed the names. Follow Tessa. She goes to college, meets Harden instead of Harry. His brown hair, cocky British accent, tattoos, lip ring. Harden is cute and different from what she's used to. But he's also rude, to the point of cruelty even. She hates him until she finds herself alone with him in his room. Something about his dark mood grabs her, and when they kiss, it ignites within her a passion she's never known before. He pushes her away again and again, yet every time she pushes back, he only pulls her in deeper. Oh, I think she already has a boyfriend. So, yeah, I don't know. I just need to read it because I bought it. This one's a big one. And some of you are going to be sad I haven't read it yet. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I know. I should have read it by now, but I'm extremely intimidated by this book, and I'm just so scared to read it. This is a special edition one. Very cool, very pretty. And I wasn't gonna buy it at one point. I was like, I just don't think that book's gonna be for me. And then I saw this and I was like, well, it could be for me. Like, it could be a good book. Everyone loves this book. Like 90% of people that read it, I think, love it. So I just want to read it, and I just need to push myself to do so. Will I actually unhaul this? Hopefully not. Hopefully I read this, but I think that'll be a push enough because I don't want to unhaul this. It's really pretty. Maybe I'd unhaul it if I hated it, but I don't know. So just gotta read it and find out. But this follows, if you don't know somehow, if you haven't heard the synopsis of this, she makes a bargain to live forever with this demon. But the catch is no one will remember her. Like, they could meet her 5 minutes ago and they won't remember who she was. And then one day she meets a young man who remembers her. So it's a big deal. I don't know. People like it. And people cry from it, so you will see. Second last book is The Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. I've had this book since high school. I think maybe 2016 is when I got it. I was like trying to get back into reading, failed miserably. But I had read, I remember reading this at a job. This came out in 2015. So yeah, I think I started working at that job at 2016. Maybe it was 2015. I don't know. 2015, 2016, I got this book. And I still have the bookmark, aka the sticky note that I used as a bookmark that many years ago, 6, 7 years ago. And I've just never continued it. But I don't want to get rid of it because I thought I enjoyed it until I stopped reading it, just because I never made reading a priority at that point. I believe it's a historical murder mystery romancy type of thing. Jo is beautiful and rich, and soon, like all the girls in her class, she'll graduate from finishing school and be married off to a wealthy bachelor, which is the last thing she wants. She secretly dreams of becoming a writer, a newspaper reporter like the trailblazing Ellie Bly. Wild aspirations aside, Jo's life seems perfect until tragedy strikes. Her father is found dead. He accidentally shot himself while cleaning his revolver. One of New York City's wealthiest men, he owned a newspaper and was a partner in a massive shipping firm. And Jo knows he was far too smart to clean a loaded gun. The more she uncovers about her father's death, the more her suspicions grow. There are too many secrets, and they all seem to be buried in plain sight. Then she meets Eddie, a young, brash, infuriatingly handsome reporter at her father's newspaper, and it becomes all too clear how much she stands to lose if she keeps searching for the truth. Only now it might be too late to stop. The past never stays buried forever. Life is dirtier than Jo could ever have imagined. And the truth is the dirtiest part of all. So, like, it sounds good. I just haven't picked it up ever again. So, I'd like to. And so I'm using this as a push to do so. Then the final book on the 12 books that self-destruct in 12 months is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I really want to read this. I really, really want to read this. And I really don't want to unhaul it at this point. I mean, maybe I'll hate it, but at this point in time, I want to read this so badly. So I'm putting it on this so I read it so I don't have to unhaul it. I thought I was still filming and I literally just read out the synopsis. and I wasn't filming. She lives a life of luxury. Her dad is rich, so he doesn't want her doing this, but she secretly goes to her uncle's lab because she wants to do the practice of forensic medicine. And there's a bunch of savagely killed corpses, and it drags her into the investigation of a serial killer, and that is Jack the Ripper. Sounds right up my alley, so hopefully I freaking read that in the next 12 months. Oh. Well, these are some of the 12 books that I would like to read that will self-destruct in 12 months if I don't read them. I have to unhaul them. So hopefully I read them soon. Most of them I want to read. Some of them are a little less so, but tell me if you've read any of these books in the comments down below, if you think they're worth it, if you think they're not. Let me know all your thoughts. If you have a similar list of books to unhaul or that will self-destruct. Sorry, the sun is going down, so I need to stop talking. But that's why the lighting's getting so bad. I've been filming this forever. But let me know if you have a similar list, what's on your list of books that will self-destruct. We will revisit this video next December and see what I have and haven't read, what needs to be unhauled, and hopefully I read most of these books, but we will see. I have medium expectations for myself. Make sure to subscribe and give a big thumbs up if you liked it. I will see you in my next video. Bye!